minus
Okay.
1.
X squared divided by x squared is 1. So I have minus 1. Okay? Now you gotta think about, you gotta have something that if you distributed this back in, it would get me back where I started. Okay? So I have x squared times 2x would give me 2x to the third. And x squared times minus 1 would give me minus x squared. Okay, so you got to stop and think, if I distributed that back, would it get me back where I started? Okay, now minus 50x and 25, what do those have in common? 25, and since I've got a negative in the middle, it needs to be negative 25. Okay, and then think about dividing. 50x divided by 25 is 2x. And 25 divided by negative 25 is minus 1.
You skipped a step there, and I'm slightly hazy on that step.
No, I didn't.
Well,
I didn't skip any steps.
No, she just did not write it out like this. She just put her little lines underneath it.
I'm talking about the negative 50 in the center. When you separate the negative, it becomes a negative 25 and a positive 50.
No. I didn't skip any steps.
I'm looking at the examples on my math lab is what I'm talking about.
I don't even know what they're doing. I don't look at those.
So they separated it.
They just took out the negative. You don't need to do that as a separate step. They took out the negative and then they took out the number. I just took out a negative number all in one step.
Okay, so since it's negative 50, we know that we have to take out a negative number.
I just take out a negative number.
Okay.
Because that's the only way you're going to get the same thing inside that parentheses.
Because I need negative 25. In order to make my last term positive, I'm going to have negative times negative here.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, then take out your 2x minus 1. Factor out that whole thing, and then that leaves you with x squared minus 25. Okay, and then x squared minus 25 I can factor into x plus 5 times x minus 5. I think you guys all have the same problem. The only difference is what number you have here. Okay, so 2x minus 1 equal to 0. To solve that, I need to add 1 and then divide by 2. I'll end up with x equals a half. Plus 5 equals 0. That will give me negative 5. X minus 5 equals 0. That will give me positive 5. Here's my 3 answers. Alright, where did I say to go if you guys don't know what to do with factoring?
Purple math.
Purple math. Has anyone done that?
No.
They want money. They want answers. What did we decide for practice?
You mean for the practice problems?
From what I found on there,
Well,
yeah.
don't do the practice problems. Just look at the lessons.
Where's somewhere where we can go do this repetitively that Joe doesn't do?
Well, you can do it as a homework. I mean, there's no penalty for doing the homework over and over again. Or you can go to Interact Math.
Because I know you gave me a website the other day and I couldn't find where I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Could you add those websites inside my math lab? Could you add links to those websites in my math lab? Well, Charles, the last teacher, could do that.
You probably can. I prefer if you guys just write it down. Interact Math. you wanna, if you wanna practice stuff from 85, you wanna choose the book from 85. The book from 85 was Bittinger. What is going on with the spelling thing here?
You have to use the thing on the side.
No, just take away the thing.
It was weird.
Yeah, it's being weird, isn't it? Bittinger Developmental Math, 9th edition. So where's the 9th edition? Is it the 8th edition? Okay, 8th edition. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the book from 85. So if you wanna practice like factoring and stuff from 85, go to Interact Math and choose that book. And then factoring is chapter 11. So you can practice to your heart's content on factoring there. Alright, let's talk about the root method. Okay, so to solve, let's do a review problem here. Let's solve a quadratic using the root method. Solve 3x squared minus 27 equals 0. Okay? What would I need to do there? Okay, I'm trying to get the x squared by itself, so I need to add 27 to both sides. Okay, that gives me 3x squared equals 27. Then I need to divide by 3. And I get x squared equals 9. Then I need to square root the x squared. And remember, with the square root, you need plus or minus answers. So plus or minus square root of 9. Okay, square root of x squared is just x. Plus or minus square root of 9 is plus or minus 3. Okay, so you get two answers there, 3 and negative 3. Okay? Now, it's the exact same method when you have an x cubed or an x to the 4th. The only difference is what type of root you use. With x cubed, you can't use the square root anymore. Square root only undoes x squared. Okay, for x cubed, you need to use the third root. For x to the fourth, you need to use the fourth root.
Could you bring it back up just a tiny bit?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We gotta get some macaroni.
One more thing I need to write down though. The lights went up.
I have a question. So, when I was in school, we keep thinking about what if it's not a perfect square? Then would you mess it apply to this one, or would it just be a statement that allows you to use perfect square?
Yeah, you just wouldn't be able to get rid of your square roots. You still have a square root of your answer.
Okay, if you're waiting on me, I'm good to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
One last thing I need to write down, is you only need the plus or minus in front of your answer with even roots.
So x squared and x to the fourth.
Yeah. Okay, so even roots means the square root, which undoes x squared, and the fourth root, which undoes x to the fourth. Okay? That's because only even powers get rid of negatives.
So you wouldn't use it on
You
x
don't
to
use
the
it with the
third.
with x cubed, with the odd root. Okay?
Would that one that you have in the parentheses, would that be a 3, like that 4 then, or
No.
no?
No, that should just be
The regular square root
the
button.
regular square root, yeah.
Now how come you wouldn't do that 3 in there, like you do the 4?
Because odd powers don't get rid of negatives. So they can't have the minus answer.
Okay, but the 4 would, okay.
Okay, they don't absorb the negative like even powers do.
So how would you would you do an example for both x cubed and x to the fourth, please?
I'm trying. I'm trying, please. Okay. Here's one. Number 8 has an x to the third.
Same shirt again.
That seems kind of easy. Let me get a different number here.
Really?
Oh, that's better. I like that better.
But that was my same problem.
Well, do you help me solve it and see if it gives you the next one? Alright,
She's
3x
so
to the third
excited.
minus 192. I like that better. Those are more fun numbers.
No. Gives me another easy one.
Well, easy is easy.
What number was that you're on?
Number 8. Okay, now if we follow the same procedure that I did for our square root problem, what would I need to do here?
Add 192.
Add 192.
Divide by 3.
And divide by 3. Okay, 192 divided by 3 would be 64. Okay? Now, is 64 a perfect square?
Yes.
What if I'm not sure? How can I check?
Try to square root it.
I can try to do the third root on my calculator. Now here's where you guys probably don't know how to do this on the calculator. Okay? What you guys need to do you want to use the button that has a root with an X over it. You guys should have a button like that. You probably have one where you can actually type in the number. It's right there, so you can actually type in the 3 or the 4. So it's better. Okay, guys, graphing calculators, it is in the math menu.
Do you see it?
No, you needed one with an X over it. There it is, X squared 1. Okay? Okay, what you need to do is put the number that you want X to be in front. So if you want the third root, you need to put a 3 in front. Okay? And then whatever number, put it in parentheses after that. Okay, and for the fourth root, you want to put a 4 in front of that X root button. Okay, so if you want to try the cube root of 64, I would do 3 X root parentheses 64, and that should tell me the answer is 4. Now, if you cannot get the calculator to tell you that, I need to come run and help you.
I got 24.
I'm not getting that
24,
either.
here it is.
So question.
No, you can't. You need a calculator.
Oh, okay.
Or I don't know.
I left it on my desk, so I didn't use it.
Okay. Yeah, that one doesn't do like calculator. You guys get it?
I found it on this one button, but it's not the button you're talking
I
about.
just figured.
No, I didn't buy those that time.
Miss Sedley, this calculator doesn't have that.
It doesn't work?
This calculator doesn't have the the cube root or the
Yeah, you gotta no, it's the one about
It's
it.
the fourth
The
root.
X root. You gotta put the number in front of it.
No, you gotta put the number in front of it and then hit your square.
Put another 3 up
I'm not
there.
sure it's gonna work.
No, that's where you put the 64.
Oh.
Oh wait.
I know
what
on
you
the calculator it has to work on this calculator. I just don't think I
Did
can get
you
hold
didn't
of
put
this
your
calculator.
second parentheses? Does that matter?
No.
Okay.
So it comes up
This
24.
button here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do 3.
3 and then that button and 64, right?
Mhm. It's backwards. You gotta do 64, that button, and then 3.
Okay,
That's
but
it.
for this,
Christina, you gotta put it in backwards. You gotta do 64, and then the XY, the X root button, and then 3.
but if it's just 3, I can just use this one down here, right?
Yeah.
That one
I
there.
got 8.
Okay. Thanks.
64. Second, you get a second, switch that to the 2 root.
I think she needs to.
64. X root. 3.
I got a 24.
No, you're just hitting square root. You gotta go in the math menu. Do 3, math, and then go down to your X root here. 64.
Okay, now why do you change that?
Because it's the third root, not the square root. The square root means something different.
Okay.
Okay?
You said hit, go into math, hit the math button?
Math button, and then go down to that X root button. That's the only way you can do the different roots. You can't just use the square root button. It doesn't mean the same thing. Guys, y'all got to be responsible for using all the different calculators you have. Okay? Alright, I just did something. Alright, where am I here?
Push anything into the 64. No.
Yeah. Gives it right to you.
Geez, today's just been one of those days.
You know, I hate breaks. I wish they wouldn't have any breaks because everybody comes back and acts like they have no idea who I am, who we are, where we are.
What's going on?
Yeah,
Where am I?
exactly. We don't know how to factor it, like you guys don't know how to factor anymore, everything's gone. I just wish they would just go straight through. Not have any breaks. It'd be a lot easier.
I want number 9 because it has a fraction.
Oh, you know what? I just rewrote that and I already had it in there. Okay. I was trying to finish this problem, so I would cube root x to the third to get rid of that. And then I would cube root 64 and get 4. Now since that's an odd number, root, you don't need the plus minus. Because negative 4 cubed doesn't work. Negative 4 cubed is negative 64, not positive 64. So that doesn't give me the right answer. Only positive 4 would give me the right answer.
So when you do a cube root, basically it's something times itself.
Right, it's saying what number to the third power gives me that number.
Okay.
Okay? Where the square root is just what number squared. Cube root is what number cubed. Fourth root is what number to the fourth power.
So would you just x equals 4?
That's it. X equals 4.
Okay.
Shoot. You only get one answer on number 8. Alright, you guys want to look at number 9 with the fraction? Yeah. Alright, we're gonna freak out when we see fractions? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Freak out.
Freak out. Well, mine's simple. So is that one. That one's 9.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
9.
Whoa, I'm gonna freak out.
This one's really simple. 25. 4 times
1/3 x to the 4th minus 27 equals 0. Yep, same thing. Add 27 first. Okay, now what would we normally do for our second step?
Divide out the,
I divide by 1/3. Dividing by 1/3 is really what?
multiply by 3.
Dividing by 1/3 is really multiplying by 3. Yeah, this thing really does not like me today either, does it?
It's a Tuesday. So dividing 1/3 of 27 would be 9.
We're not multiplying. You're not taking 1/3 of 27.
You're not?
Because to get rid of the 1/3, you have to divide it by 1/3. You're not dividing by 1/3. You really need to multiply by 3.
What? Multiply by 3?
To get rid of 1/3, you have to multiply
Okay,
it.
to get rid of the 1/3 on the left side, I gotta multiply it by 3.
Maybe I'm thinking about that wrong.
It's just like how we get rid of adding by subtracting.
Okay. This means 1/3 of something equals 27. 1/3 of something means 27 means I need to multiply by 3 to get the bigger number, so that I can take 1/3 of it and get 27.
Oh, because in order to get rid of the fraction, we actually have to multiply it by 3, not divide
Multiply by 3 to get rid of that fraction.
Not divide by 1/3.
Yeah. So 27 times 3 is 81.
That's what I got, but I thought that you were supposed to.
Okay, so we're not done yet. How do I get rid of the x to the 4th?
X to the...
The square root. That
No,
button.
X to the 4th.
The 4th root
fourth
gets
root,
rid
that's
of
it.
x to the 4th.
That's a funny word. 4th root.
Well, the 3rd root is called the cube root. The 4th root is just the 4th root. Now, what do I need with the 4th root that I didn't need with the 3rd?
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus. Plus or minus, because it's even again. Well, what is the 4th root of 81?
3.
What number to the 4th power equals 81? Okay?
So it would be 3 times 3, which would be 9
So on the
times
calculator, you need to
9.
use your x root button and put a 4 in front of it. Call it the 4th root. Okay?
So you separate these
Start typing.
answers,
81.
right?
Well, duh.
Second. No, you gotta hit second to get to that yellow. second, back, and then fourth. Trying to get clarity out. 81.
So you'll take your
Second.
256.
That number, fourth. Equals.
Okay, so
There you go.
use your button. Hmm?
16.
Okay, again, to tell it fourth root, you gotta use the x root.
Wow.
And then 81. Because you cannot use the square root button for anything other than the square root. It just does not work.
For the fourth, there's no.
Which button do you use? She uses a 3
There's no 4, you gotta type it like that when you gotta use the x root.
I wonder why.
Yeah, no. But
Oh, you put the 4 in front of that. So
You gotta put the 4 in front of it
put
to
the
tell
4
it the x,
first.
to tell it that x is 4.
And then go in and
No, you're using the square root. You gotta do math and then the x root.
should you ever get a decimal? You can get a decimal, but should you ever get a
No.
decimal?
then.
I've divided by 5 the first time, but I multiplied by 5 the second
Yeah,
time.
you should multiply
And
by
now
5.
put in.
Here, yeah.
Because that's even, it's in plus or minus. You're right. No, you're putting in there plus 4 or positive 4 and negative 4. So just like I did. No, you don't need that. It's just saying like mine's negative 5 and 5. So yours would be negative 4 and 4.
And then you've got a quadratic you can factor. Alright, if you guys got 9, go ahead and look at 10. Actually, 10 is a factoring question. Yeah.
I was gonna get 32.
You gotta add 25, do 25, yeah, you're gonna have 25 times 25.
Okay.
So just give you a big number. Now, did you guys pass this all the way around?
Yeah, it's already been done all the way around.
All the way around?
Did you ever
Alright, you guys ready for a break?
Yeah.
Quick break. Back at 12:15.
Yes, this break is really hard.